question. I said I was going to go quick, but you got me on that one. I got a little excited. Sorry.
Thank you. You said as governor that you would investigate Jeffrey Epstein's many crimes here in Florida. My question is that you're a member of Congress now, so why not start now? Right now, we have a lot of people in government who have hindered the transparency on the Epstein files that have been released. For example, Howard Lutnick was caught lying about his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Would you be willing to call for his resignation? Pam Bondi violated the Epstein Transparency Act, which said that she had to unredact the names of people who were co-conspirators, and she was already redacting Wexner's name. And Kash Patel perjured himself in a sworn testimony to Congress, saying that Epstein had no evidence of trafficking women to individuals, but we know that's not true. So would you plan to call for their impeachment as well, along with Howard Lutnick's resignation?
No. And let me be very clear as to why. I wanted the Epstein files released. I did not sign the discharge because I think signing discharges is not the way you go about this business, but I wanted them released. When the vote came to the floor, I voted for them to be released. Here's the other thing I'm not into. In the United States of America, we do not do justice by the mob or by social media or by commentary. We do justice, and criminal justice in particular, by investigative procedure. I cannot speak to what other attorney generals or Pam Bondi have done with respect to investigating these individuals. In Florida, if there's probable cause, we will investigate those individuals, but there has to be a deliberate criminal justice investigation and indictment strategy, and then potentially conviction. You cannot, all right, I'm 47, you're like, this dude sounds old. But let's be real. We don't do justice by social media. Remember I talked about the law, Frederick Bastiat, 1850 France? That's what they did, and it destroyed their country. I do not support pedophiles. I want them all to be held accountable to the highest extent of the law, but it has to be by the law, not by the whims of men. The foundation of our country, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment in particular, the very basis of the constitutional republic is to ensure fair access to criminal justice proceedings. Because the Magna Carta was written and fought over because the king decided to leverage justice at his whim, regardless of evidence, regardless of a jury trial. That's what Magna Carta was. The framers of our nation, they read Magna Carta. They read the Grand Remonstrances. They had observed the abuse of liberty for centuries in Europe. And so when they came here to this land and they formed a constitution, the purpose of that constitution is to make sure that everybody has their day in court. When it comes to people wanting to resign or whatever, again, like I said, I'm not in the denouncing business. I don't do that. People's opinions of anybody else, let the court of public opinion have that. But when it comes to the criminal justice system, we are not going to have a system of trial by social media. We're not going to do it because it's not consistent. Here's why this is most important. I don't know you, but you seem like a nice gentleman. You have a nice t-shirt on. The purpose of having a stabilized system of justice is to protect you too. I don't know if anybody remembers this time period in American history. You guys probably remember. I think you're old enough now. The Me Too era. Oh yeah, this guy, shoo. Was that justice? And I'm not protecting people who are sexualizing women, intimidating women, because I think that's filthy, disgusting, and wrong. But we have a system of justice for a reason. And the hardest thing in a nation like ours is to resist the urge to fight for the purge. That is the harder thing to do. But that's what restraint means. Our system of justice and our system of government is supposed to be stable and even-handed. It is not supposed to move at the whims of the algorithm. It's not designed to do that. And I will tell you unapologetically, if that's where we go, America will not last another 250 years. And if America doesn't last, watch out. Because you think the Chinese care about Jeffrey Epstein? Because let's be 100% crystal clear. We have two real enemies on the face of this planet, and that is the Chinese Communist Party, and that is the Muslim Brotherhood and radical Sharia. They do not care about women's rights. They do not care about your dreams and your aspirations and your ability to own property. They want to dominate the world. That's what they want to do. And I personally believe we have front groups in the United States who are funding all this nonsense on social media. Why? Because the number one way to attack America is not from outside. Our military is too strong, too tough, and too good. The way you destabilize America is you have their people destabilize it from inside. That's how you destabilize America. And I 100% believe we have psyops going on in social media to decentralize America's internal political fabric. Because if we're running around fighting this one, fighting that one, fighting this one, you're wrong, we gotta fire you, you gotta be strung up, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you cannot have a cohesive political environment. If you can't have a cohesive political environment, your economy begins to destabilize. If your economy begins to destabilize, then you have chaos in your streets. If you have chaos in your streets, this whole thing is over. And that's what our adversaries know. So as Americans, I want justice for every survivor. I do. But it has to be justice. It can't be emotional flailing. It has to be justice. So to your core question, should there be investigations? 100% I believe that. I'm on the oversight committee. We are doing some of that work right now. We're bringing Bill and Hillary in next week to question them under oath. There should be these things that go on. We're doing it. But it's especially for you young guys and ladies, especially for you. There is a deliberate process to justice. And I don't care what anybody on social media says about it. There is a consistent process for this. It is deliberating. And that is to protect every American citizen, whether you're guilty as hell or you're innocent. And in our system of law, you are innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around. If we can't keep that standard, because the algorithm tells us to, to quote your hat over there, that is not America first. It's not. This was fun. Seriously. Really appreciate you guys coming in, taking the time to be here. Politics is a funny business. I've seen enough. All I'll tell you is, in the close, you want a consistent society based on common sense and sound policy. That may sound boring sometimes, but that's the thing that gives you the freedom to build your life and to build your dream and to have your kids and to have your property and to really do something phenomenal in your lifetime. So I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate you letting me come. And if you had class right now, trust me, this was way better than class.